Samsung has released a new entry-level phone, the Galaxy A05s. Over time, nicer features get implemented in budget phones, so what do we get this time around from Samsung? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our Galaxy A05s review. Just as we saw with last year's Galaxy A04s, the new A05s comes at the bottom of the A-series lineup. There are some notable upgrades though, including a larger, higher-res display, a new chipset, and faster charging. Like last year, the A05s's back is made of plastic, though rather than a glossy finish, this time around it's matte with a smooth texture. The frame has a brushed metal look, though it is plastic as well. You get the same vertical triple cameras as on other Samsungs, and besides the metallic-looking finish, there's nothing too remarkable here. Like I mentioned, the display has gotten a nice upgrade. It's a larger 6.7-inch LCD with a 1080p resolution rather than 720p and a 90Hz refresh rate. One of the complaints we had with the A04s was the low-res screen, so the boost in sharpness is quite welcome here. The bezels are still huge, but that's to be expected at this budget price. The color accuracy isn't great either, and there are no controls to tweak that with. When it comes to brightness, the Galaxy A05s was able to reach nearly 470 nits maximum. That's not great, but it's usable outdoors, and at least is brighter than what last year's model could muster. The 90Hz refresh rate is meant to smooth out your swiping and scrolling. The smoothness is limited though by the sluggish pixel response times, which lead to ghosting and smearing, and this refresh rate doesn't dial down while idling on the home screen to save energy. The Galaxy A05s has a 3.5mm jack for headphones and a single bottom firing speaker. The speaker earned an average score in our loudness test, and its sound quality is just okay. You can listen for yourself with the provided link. You can wake up and unlock the phone with a side-mounted fingerprint reader. It's built into the power button and is very accurate and snappy. Storage is expandable through microSD on top of the 128 gigs on board. No need to deal with a 32 or 64 gig version here. The onboard storage is the eMMC 5.1 variety though, rather than the faster UFS. The software package you get on the A05s is Samsung's One UI Core 5.1 on top of Android 13. It provides many of the features you'd get on more expensive Samsung devices, and over time, more of them have been trickling down to the Core version. There are still quite a few features missing though, which include things like edge panels, Good Lock, and Samsung Pay. Under the hood of the Galaxy A05s is a Snapdragon 680 4G chipset. It's a chipset that was never powerful to begin with, and it's already 2 years old at this point. It doesn't support 5G connectivity either. Still, at least it's better than the Exynos 850 that came in last year's model. In benchmarks, the Galaxy A05s isn't flat out terrible, but is still far from impressive. The fact remains that there is much more powerful hardware to be had in this price range. You can feel the lack of power when going about your daily business too, even when doing some low-key tasks. The animations and transitions feel quite slow, and the performance isn't what we'd call smooth. The Galaxy A05s has a 5000 mAh battery, and the battery life isn't spectacular, but it's still good. The phone was able to earn an active use score of 11 hours and 32 minutes. Charging has been upgraded to 25 watts versus 15 watts on the previous model, but you still don't get a charger in the box. With a proper adapter, we were able to charge the A05s from 0 to 43% in half an hour. That's nothing fancy, but a big improvement over last year. When it comes to cameras, not much has changed. The Galaxy A05s again brings a 50-megapixel main cam, a 2-megapixel macro camera, and a depth sensor. The main cam's photos come out at 12.5 megapixels due to pixel binning. There is plenty of detail and no excessive sharpening, though foliage and grass do look a bit soft from up close. Colors are mostly true to life. There is noticeable noise, and shadows come out looking dark. Portrait shots are competent, with good-looking background blur. There are some occasional issues with the edge detection though, despite having a dedicated depth sensor. In low light, the Samsung Galaxy A05s struggles quite a lot. There's enough detail, but plenty of noise. The dynamic range could be better too. Shadows are quite dark. If you enable the dedicated night mode, you do get the noise cleaned up, and you get a brighter overall exposure. A lot of detail gets smoothed over by the noise reduction though. Video capture is limited to 1080p resolution, and the footage is okay. You get nice colors, low noise, and decent dynamic range. There is no video stabilization available though. Close-up photos from the 2-megapixel macro camera are decent, with okay detail and good-looking colors. And finally, we have the new selfie cam. It's 13 megapixels compared to last year's 5-megapixel shooter. The The selfies are usable, but look aggressively processed and smoothed over. So there you have it, guys. You've got to give Samsung credit for improving on a lot of the shortcomings of last year's Galaxy A04s. The new model has a better, higher-res screen, faster charging, and more onboard storage. There's a new chipset too, although it still isn't powerful enough to make for a snappy user experience. That, plus the sluggish pixel response of the display, could leave some users disappointed. If you think you wouldn't mind that, you could check out the Galaxy A05s, but it's probably worth it to shop around for a phone with better performance or battery life. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives with a more powerful chipset, one option could be the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G, or you could check out the Xiaomi Redmi Note 12 4G. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.